Welcome to Smart Remarks, where court is now in session.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
So President Barack Obama nominated Sonia Sotomayor for the U.S. Supreme Court this past week, and right out of the box, conservatives and the Pavlov's dog's minds did exactly what we thought they were going to do, and they characterized her as an activist judge. What you got to understand is that regardless of whom Obama nominated, they were going to say the same thing. Whomever the candidate was, he or she was going to be an activist judge. That's just how conservatives roll. We expected it. What we didn't expect was, right out of the box, for conservatives to try to use her Latino heritage as a liability. And indeed, her nomination wasn't even 24 hours old before we had the likes of Glenn Beck telling us that Sonia Sotomayor is actually a racist.
Racist? It's a racist statement.
Here you have a racist.
Do you think she's a racist?
The poor, oppressed white people. This on the basis of comments she made in a speech 8 years ago in which she said, quote, "I would hope that a wise Latina woman with the richness of her experiences would more often than not reach a better conclusion as a judge than a white male who hasn't lived that life." And see, all the pasty white guys in America who vote Republican said, see, if a white guy said that, it would be racist. Wrong! But first of all, Sonia Sotomayor was specifically talking about race and sex discrimination cases. Beyond that, if you read the comments in context, which the right specifically and purposefully has not done, you understand that it's clear that what she's saying is that all judges are affected by their life experiences, and the goal is to transcend that even when it's difficult. Here's a woman who grew up in the projects, the daughter of a single mom. It's the type of thing you'd think that conservatives would normally cheer on the basis for achievements. But she's going to have a vastly different life experience than your average pasty white Limbaugh listener sitting out in the suburbs. And that may indeed permit her to make a more informed decision, a wiser decision, though she herself said that that can never be the overriding factor. But, all this involves more nuance and thought than your average right-winger is capable of. And so, instead, we get the outrage, and we get this cartoon version of a nominee who went to Princeton, who went to Yale Law, who sat on the circuit court bench, but now whose entire career can be boiled down to two words: identity politics. In other words, it doesn't matter how intelligent or accomplished she might be, because she's a Latina, and you know what that means, huh? This in itself is a perfect example of identity politics. It's nonsense, it's offensive. But again, it's just how they roll, and I suppose I should have expected this, too.
Just like, hey, Hispanic chick lady. Gosh, that smacks of racism, but maybe it's just me, Ed.